Well, good morning everybody and welcome to the channel. Hey, it is a partly cloudy, crisp 61 degrees today here in southern Texas, and I want to get on here and talk about 5 useless options on my Tundra back there that I paid for that I don't use. Unfortunately today, you have no choice but to buy a truck with some kind of a package on it, and included in that package are going to be things that you probably aren't ever going to use. Well, that's the case with me. I paid for these things, but I never used them. Okay, we're inside the truck here, and I know some of these are going to be a little bit controversial, so I got my flame suit on. I'm ready to roll. Let's start with number 1, and these are in no particular order. Each one of them is just as least important as the next one to me. So first off is Homelink. You know, Homelink is a neat thing, and I understand if you use it, you know, it keeps these things out of your way, right? I mean, you can see I've got 2 openers up here on my visors, and I get questions every once in a while. Gee, don't you have Homelink? Why aren't you using it? Why are these in here? Well, here's why. You can see we have the buttons up here, but frankly, they're very small. And from the seating position in the truck, let's see if I can show you guys. I don't know if I can get a proper angle. You know, I'm in here and I'm driving like so, and this is just a picky little thing. But when I get home or wherever I need to be, I have to lean. I have to lean a little bit to get up here to the mirror. Now, it's just slightly, not much. But when I'm using the openers up here, I just reach up. I just reach up and hit them, right? I mean, they're right here. It's no big deal. They're within easy reach. I mean, it's all about convenience anyway, right? I mean, that's why Homelink is in here. And it's just more convenient for me to hit these openers that are on the visors. The other thing is, at night, if it's dark, I can't see which one to hit, you know, where they're at exactly on here. I don't know if any of you guys have ever experienced that, because I have, or I did have Homelink in my other Tundra, and I did have it activated and I did use it, but I never could see. I always had to hit the light, you know, where that button was. So that's my first one, Homelink. I paid for it, but I never use it. Okay, next up, the second one, and I'm sitting in it right now, and that is the power seat. Let's go ahead and step out of here. The power seat that comes in the Tundra. Now, obviously, it has the different adjustments and all that kind of stuff, you know, front to back, back to side, all the things that, you know, you want. And it's nice to have for that initial setup, right? I mean, when you first get the truck and you want to get the seat adjusted the way that you want it, you go ahead, use the electric controls, and it's done. But you pay a lot of money for that seat, right? And after you do it for the first time, I mean, I'm the only one that drives this truck. So once it's set, it's set. And on the off occasion that maybe my wife is going to drive it, or I take it somewhere to have service done, and for some crazy reason the person driving it adjusts my seat, I'll use it then. But otherwise, I never touch it. I think if we had the functionality of the electric seat, and by that I mean all the different adjustments and things, and you know, you can accomplish that in a manual version, we don't need an electric seat. Plus, if that electric seat ever breaks, you can't move it, right? There's no manual override where you can change the seat to get it where you want it. You're just out of luck. So you either get it fixed, or I guess you always drive it the way that it is when it breaks. And hopefully that doesn't happen when somebody that's, you know, 3 feet taller than you pushes the seat all the way back, and now you can't move it anymore. So the power adjustable seat, while it's nice to have, you know, that first time, I really don't want to pay for it to just sit there forever because I don't use it. Okay, next up, and this one is very picky and very personal. I'll tell you right now. Let me turn you around and show you, and that is the passenger side mirror right there. And to be honest, I don't even know if they're required by law these days. I think you have to have a driver's side, but I don't know if you really have to have a passenger side. And as you can see over there, mine is folded in. I don't even have it out. It's just folded in, and that's because when I pull in my garage up there, and this is why I say it's personal, I can't get my truck in between the columns on the lift with the mirrors open, or at least with that side open. So I would rather it just not even be there. You know, again, this is personal, and I know a lot of you guys out there are going to say, I use my mirror all the time. What are you talking about? I don't. I never use it. Matter of fact, I shouldn't say never. The only time I use it, for some reason, when my wife is with me, she jumps in the truck and she pulls that mirror out. And I gotta say, the primary reason I don't use it is because of the hassle of having to get out of the truck and go around and move it in and out, right? I can't reach it from inside. It's not power. And if it were a power mirror, maybe we could take that power seat option and throw it over to the mirrors. Then I would use it, I must admit. But I don't have power mirrors, so it's a useless feature to me because it's always in. And if anything, because it's always in like that, it kind of blocks my view a little bit there. So it almost poses a safety risk by being on the truck. All right, moving on to the next one, and this one is number 4. This has to do with the gauge cluster, and in particular, let's take a look right here. You can see we have a digital or a number readout for the speedometer, and then we have the old style needle gauge over here, another speedometer. So in essence, the Tundra has, and many vehicles are like this, but the Tundra has 2 speedometers in it. We have the number readout or the digital readout, and we have the old style pen or needle gauge. Why? I don't understand that. I don't know why they still put both in the gauge cluster. Is it because it's just always been that way and they're afraid that if they don't, that somebody might be driving down the road and not realize, you know, because they're used to the old style gauge with the needle in it, might not realize they have a speedometer, might overlook that readout in the center. So we still have to have the old-fashioned needle gauge speedometer over here. I don't understand that. I mean, I love this. I never use this. Matter of fact, the few times that, you know, I've had that digital readout changed to something else like tire pressure or whatever, I actually have to think about it for a minute to figure out how fast I'm going. Even though it's that big gauge right in front of me, I am so used to using that readout in the center of the screen, I don't even know exactly where it is. I know it's strange, but why? I mean, we pay for that, right? And couldn't we use that for something else? I mean, maybe it could be some kind of screen readout for, I don't know, anything else. But why do we have 2 speedometers in the Tundra? I mean, we don't have any other gauges that are duplicates, right? I mean, I don't have 2 gas gauges. I don't have 2 oil temperature or battery voltage gauges. Why? Why do we have that? I don't know. Doesn't make sense to me, and I'm paying for it. Okay, the last one, and I said some of these were going to be a little controversial. This one is going to be as well, and that is cruise control. We have cruise control down here, right? I never, ever use cruise control. I haven't used control or cruise control probably more than, I'll bet you 5 times in my entire life since I started driving. You know, I've tried it a couple times, and frankly, I just don't like it. I don't like the idea of my vehicle cruising down the road, in essence on its own, at its own speed, without me being able to control it without doing something else. You know, I guess I'm just used to having my foot on the pedal, and if I'm driving down the road, I can just let my foot off the gas and the truck will slow down, right? I don't like it. I don't use it. I know a lot of people do. They go out on long trips and they like to sit that or set that cruise control speed and just go. I don't know what the big deal is. I mean, it's not that difficult to push on a gas pedal, is it? I mean, I don't think it is. Anyway, I know that one is going to be pretty controversial, but it's a personal thing and I just don't care for it. All right, that was number 5. I am going to give you a bonus number 6 because as I'm out here sitting in the Tundra, and I keep looking at this, and it makes no sense to me. Let's take a look down here at the center console, the shifter area. You guys can see right here, we have the, what I'll call manual shift option. You know, where you pull the shifter down here and switch it over to manual. What in the world is the point of that? You know, it is not a manual transmission. You know, I've heard a lot of people talk about that feature and the little, you know, shifter paddles on the steering wheel like it's a manual. It's not a manual transmission. If you want a manual transmission, while you still can, buy a manual transmission. But for me, it's useless. I never use that, ever. I don't see the attraction in it. You know, it's not like you're really going through the gears or anything. And if you don't shift within a range that it wants you to shift, it'll do it for you automatically anyway. Now, that's another thing that is just an extra cost, especially when you're talking about transmissions, right? It's just an extra cost that I don't need. And the funny thing is, they're becoming more and more predominant. I don't even know if you can buy a Tundra anymore that doesn't have that option in it. I think it's just that standard, and I don't get it. Anyway, that is my list of 5 plus 1 bonus useless options that come with the Tundra that I pay for, that I don't need and I don't particularly want. I don't have a choice though. Anyway, leave a comment down below. Remember, I got my flame suit on. Let me know what you think of my list. I am sure that you're not going to agree with everything that I said. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. And we'll see you next time on the web. Have a great day. Bye.